What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode with AB Investments. We had a wonderful live yesterday, and I want to thank everybody who came out to it and all the support from everybody within the community, within my community, our community, and the entire rest of the AMC community. And it just was fun. And thanks all. I want to thank everybody for the support. Now, here's the thing. I want to give you guys perspective on something that a lot of people gets lost, like a lot of things gets lost in the noise. And one thing I always advocate for, or I always push forward to, is instead of looking at the small pictures or the small little details here and there, because it's not love, it's not romance, this is investing. Many times or sometimes you just have to call things out as you see them. So, if you see somebody running at you with a knife, what do you think what is your first thought? Or what is your first instinct? The first instinct is going to tell you, I got to protect myself because this person is coming to kill me. And this thing, if you apply that logic onto the play that we're in, or this situation that we're in, you will start eliminating a lot of unnecessary headaches. And this is mainly how you avoid all the emotional investing mindset. You will start automatically, if you apply that mindset, you will start getting rid of all the unnecessary noise, unnecessary headaches, small little fires here and there, all the magnificent DD out there, and the hypothetical um, hypothetical situations where people are anticipating, oh, look at this. I think this is what's happening. And this way you can also avoid all the 4D chess and the 5D and the 6D chess and all that crap. Break it down. Always break every situation down to its least common denominator and look who's your adversary. Now, everybody knows them. You're like, okay, AB, we know who they are. But are you truly paying attention to who's really hurting you? How can you retaliate? Because to be a great investor, let alone a war general in your own perspective, in your own life, you never leave the door open for somebody to come in and take your home. However, if it was forcefully taken away from you, you know now you have a face and who did it. You have to identify who did it, how did they do it, and eventually, when you are plotting your own thing, your own little plan, the beautiful plan to come back and get what's rightfully yours, or to get to this level or to this stepping stone that you want to get to, or we have to get to, you have to basically do all that stuff that I just mentioned. You have to identify, you have to plot, and you have to do all that. But without even having to bother yourself with all the unnecessary noise. So let's apply that logic to our situation, our play. Remember, for so long, I've always been saying that what they need is in our accounts. All these synthetics, all these things that they need to cover with and whatever, they're all in our accounts. The thing is, they're waiting for you to sell so they can go ahead and do what they have to do. But that's not only it. A lot of people think it's just that simple. If all these things if many of these shares were hypothetically, synthetically created, and they were dumped on the market, similar like when short hedge funds go and borrow shares. Who are they borrowing the shares from? They're borrowing from brokers. That's the most known source. They're borrowing from institutes who want to make money on their lending out their shares, which is obviously dying out completely because the payouts are not there, and the risk of losing on their own entire investment, because again, once they lend out these shares, those institutes like the BlackRocks and the Vanguards, if there was a risk where any of the people that they're lending these shares out to cannot even get them back their shares, or basically with their profits, if they don't see any profit in it, trust me, they're not going to be in it. Once they feel that and they see that, then obviously they're going to try to either margin call, get it back, and all that stuff. But why hasn't any of that happened? A lot of people are, the first thing that we could come up to, or the first thing that comes to mind is everybody is looking out for each other. They're all on the same boat, and they're like, hey, look, I'll take care of you, you'll take care of me, my favor, I did one for you, you're doing one for me. However, all at a no loss. Once somebody starts feeling or smelling the smell of loss, they will turn on everybody else. Because again, it's just a saying like, hey, when it comes to my soul, I rather live. I don't care who has to go, but that's my soul. When it comes to my soul, I want to survive. That's human nature. Or they can borrow, like market makers can borrow shares from the DTCC. However, they can keep bringing them back to the DTCC and creating those synthetics by basically wash selling those same shares that they borrow, bring back. However, they're buying and selling all that crap to replicate and all that stuff. But who? Here's the $1 million assessment. In this case, the $1 trillion assessment. Who is the point of contact between us and them? For all of you out there that wants to go out there and get mad at Ken Griffin, all of you that want to go and get mad at the SEC, all of you out there that want to get mad at Adam Aaron and all that stuff, let me tell you something. You're going to die of old age and heartache trying to go after and assess where or which one is gonna listen to you. Like the SEC, okay, Crimea River, it's been over 2 years and the time is still counting. Ken Griffin, what are you gonna keep? We've been doing already a lot of calling out, cussing out, everything in the book. What had happened? Nothing. The guy even moved to Florida and he continues to make more and more money. Legally or illegally, good luck proving that. However, who else? Oh, Adam Aaron, yes. You guys want to out there sit and waste your time trying to see if he is on the hedge fund side or is he on our side? He's this and he's that. Trust me, brothers and sisters, you are barking at a tree. When it comes to that, at the end of the day, all it takes for the guy, he could do all the shady stuff in the world, and all it takes for him is to go ahead and resign at some point and walk away. And he still accomplished their purpose if he was to be on their side. And if he was a good man, then obviously you will see it in the actions and you will see what will happen, and that will take time as well. But how can you get yourself to sleep at night? Why is ABO, for example, smiling in the videos? Why is it all that? Because all this stuff was predetermined initially years ago when the investment was first made. Now, with all that stuff that I've said, who is the only entity, or what is, better said, the only entity that you and I, or everybody else, have as point of contact between us and everyone else out there? Whether the short hedge funds, the market makers, Adam Aaron, SEC, all of them. That one entity, if you said the brokers, you guessed it right. Here's why. In order for the market maker to whether create synthetics or whether to buy and or borrow shares and dump them, or even for the short hedge funds, and even Adam Aaron, in order for him to commit and do whatever, whether reverse stock splits or whether flips or slip splits, whatever he wants to do, all that stuff goes through the brokers, which is the intermediaries, then to us. So technically, what I've said a little bit ago, just so we can re-clarify all that, is by going after the Ken Griffin, going after the SEC, going after Adam Aaron, going after the short hedge funds, and we've seen a few of them already shut down throughout this movement. What have you gotten? And I'm not going to say that's like you haven't gotten anything. Yes, you need to voice out your opinions. I just go about it differently. I just know that instead of going through, if it's a 10-mile trip and to go around, and there is a way to go 1 mile to complete that trip, I'm going to take the 1 mile. That's just the way I think. And that's just the way I'm wired and the way I go about things. So what is the only way that all these stars above that we can't reach, that we haven't been able to reach, what is their only point of contact? The brokers. Here's the thing. Here's the beautiful part about this. Let's say the price was brought down, and let's say the reverse stock split was done, and which in realistically is 5-1, not 10-1. But when you pay attention to it and you go through the details and look at when 8 was first issued, you'll understand that it's 5-1. However, 5-1, 7-1, 10-1, 100-1. Roll with me on this. In order for the market maker to borrow shares or even short hedge funds and then dump them, sell them short on the market, they sell them through the NASDAQ, NYC, and so forth, through the brokers. And who's buying those shares? Most of it is being purchased, as we know, by the retail, which is through our brokers. Now, the thing is here, and maybe you're already seeing where I'm going with this, and maybe you're beginning to open up to see exactly how I'm going about my thinking and the process of how I go about this to stay sane and keep my conviction in my play, and in the same time, without even having to give any financial advice, whether buy or hold or sell. I just know that when all these guys, let's say I'm going to assume the worst. I'm going to assume the SEC is against me. I'm going to assume Ken Griffin doesn't like me and is against me. I'm going to assume that all the institutions out there are against me. They're all colluding with each other. And on top of that, I'm going to assume that Adam Aaron is also, and AMC's board is also against me. If that's the case, if you have pondered that in your head without having to give anybody a pass, without it being fully deserved, because in the way of doing business, this is the way I do business. Nobody's given a free pass of trust. Because when it comes to money, many out there will sell their soul. So, again, if all of them, I'm going to assume, just ball with me here. Let's assume that all of those people I just mentioned are lined up against us and they hate us and they want the worst for us. They have ill will for us. The only way that we have any contact with these people is through our personal brokers. Whether you DRS, whether you using Webull, TD Ameritrade, or Fidelity, and all that, I'm not going to sit here and open up a can of worms with talking about, oh no, this broker is bad. Oh no, this broker is good. And no, this is Fidelity. No, this is payment for order flow. At the end of the day, the only way that we're buying those shares that they are manipulating and playing with, or even dumping short on the market, selling short on the market, is through us, whether they're real or synthetic. That's what we're buying. I mean, if you're buying, let's say there's 10, hypothetically speaking, let's say there's 10 floats of AMC that are extra above that realistic float. Who's holding it? It can't be the short hedge funds, because that doesn't make sense, that they want to incur a 10x loss on top of being short on the original investment. So like by that, they would have already, like, they're not going to be the ones buying the same synthetics. However, there is some truth to that with the market maker, because the market maker has an option chain that they can't get obliterated on. So therefore, you could see the option, the market maker going ahead and buying and selling and rebuying the same orders or shares that they are processing, just in the pursuit to see where all the orders are at, just so they can fulfill not getting burnt on the options chain, whether via calls or puts. And every day they know what they need to do. They see the percentages, they see the numbers, and their algorithms will make sure they'll take care of the rest of that. and they know what they need to do. They get those shares, whether real or fake. Again, when they dump and sell these shares short, they're dumping them and selling them through brokers to us. That's when we're buying them. Now, they need those shares back so they can close up, whether they were synthetic or real. They need those shares back. To have those shares back, they need to force you to sell your share, to sell your position. And again, I'm not influencing anybody here to hold or to buy or to sell, because again, I don't have any financial advice, degree, or any of that. I'm just speaking AB logic and my opinion. You can choose to laugh at it or you can take it. So anyways, when they need you and they need to force you or bluff you out of your thing, the only way they can get to you with that is through the media, through the actions of the people that you possibly have the most trust for. Because a lot of people out there have the utmost faith for example, the AMC board and AMC, or GME's board, and we're not going to even mention the CEO there because it's not Ryan Cohen, but a lot of people even think that that's GME's CEO. However, a lot of people would trust these individuals, give them the utmost trust without even like knowing the individuals personally. That's why I said in business, how can you give anybody trust when they never even, and you never even met them? It's weird, but we're in the market. So it's not feasible that you're going to meet every CEO out there that you're going to invest in the company with. However, this is not a regular play. This is not a day trade play. This is the mother of all short squeezes. So instead of me focusing on giving anybody trust, should I trust them or should I not? Should I not agree with them or should I do that? Or should I take a leap of faith? No, in business, there's no such thing. I'm just telling you guys logic, coming from a businessman. So I know that they need to bluff you out of that. Fake shares, real shares, naked shorts, real shorts. A lot of people are focusing on and saying, oh, the price is going to drop so low to the point where, and when they do the reverse stock split and the conversion, then the shorts will get an opportunity to cover all their other extra floats of shorts. And we get 90% less. And here's the thing. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but AB does not pay attention to any of that madness because I already know the reason they doing all this stuff and create all this commotion is for you to go ahead and for them to influence your thoughts and your feelings and emotions so that you can go ahead and dump your position. And at this point where the price is at, then it's 100,000% going to be for a win or a profit for them. Because the price is obviously, most people in this movement are most of them, like more than 95% of them are at a red position within AMC. And that's the truth of the matter. So that this is something that is definitely orchestrated, in my humble opinion, so that they can make sure that with creating extra noise, first they set the stage with the price where it's at right now. Then when the stage is all set, they got to bring in the players. They know that there's a lot of people out there, and it's a divided community as far as, do you trust Adam Aaron or do you not trust Adam Aaron? Do you trust the board or do you not trust the board? Do you trust the SEC or do you not trust the SEC? There's too many options and too much trust being thrown around left and right. Rightfully so or not rightfully so. They have the stage set. Now they have the players, and now they have the plots. They set the plots. Okay, Adam Aaron announces that there's going to be an Antera and it's going to be a reverse stock split and reconversion. Have fun with that, people. If you choose to go to that play and watch it, go to that stage and that concert and watch that play, you're going to be in for a ride. Like, they're definitely going to get to you. That's for sure. Like that's just how emotions work. That's psychology for you, 101. The one thing that I simplify it with is I end up with this is in order for them to have contact with us, or in order for us to have contact with them, is through the intermediary, which is again the brokers. Now, if the brokers can't bluff, play with me here. If the brokers can't bluff us out of our positions, and people don't sell, the only hope that, again, like I said earlier, let's assume that all those people we mentioned, Adam Aaron, SEC, market maker, government, everybody is out to get us. They hate us, including our own brokers. So, if they can't bluff us out of the position, assuming what I just said, and people are continuing to hold through it, you're going to have the other side basically eventually, like the brokers themselves are the ones that are mostly on the hook, because that guy and that guy and that guy up there, all those guys I mentioned up there, they're not directly on the front lines. The brokers are in the front lines. So those shorts, when those shares were bought or borrowed and dumped and sold short on the market, when people bought them, all the synthetics and all the real shares, the only way for them out, forget, okay, F fundamentals, F all that stuff. This is fundamentals also 101. In order for them to get out is either for that play or that company to go bankrupt, which I don't see that happening. I mean, again, we don't see that happening anytime soon. In fact, it's the opposite. Or there's no other possible way for people to sell all their stuff at this current price. Because if the price, hypothetically speaking, was to go above the national average of the most people, the retail that are holding this position, then now the brokers are literally in the front lines and they are cut off from the top. They're screwed. Could you imagine if there is, hypothetically speaking, 10, 20, 30 billion shares out there, or 5 or whatever, and the brokers, all they were doing is processing these orders that definitely cannot be fulfilled, but they were going along because they were given, hypothetically speaking, assurances from all those guys that I mentioned that hypothetically are bad individuals, or they don't like us and they want to hurt us. This is absolutely the worst case scenario, right? I'm giving you the worst case scenario for us. So don't, like, you can only imagine if it's a little bit better than that, or if it's the best case scenario, how much better it will be. Even at our worst case scenario is so freaking great, because now that these guys, if the price of AMC, hypothetically speaking, was to be above the average of what they know of what the most of the community was buying at, most of these brokers are way over leveraged on the amount of BS that they were dumping, thinking that people were not going to gobble it up. Because why they were doing that? Because they were so hungry for the money that they were going to get. Because you were giving them money, they were taking that money to do what? To go make their own investments, pump and dump stocks like you see on a daily basis with penny stocks. I mentioned that in a live yesterday. But they were not anticipating that people, or they're still not anticipating that people will sit here and wait, God knows for however, and they will always be the ones that's in the front lines, literally in the front lines of this whole thing, between us and them, whoever they are behind that, the brokers. If the price goes up and everybody starts talking about selling and they want to sell, where are these brokers going to get the money from? See, this is where the beauty of, or the beauty of reverse psychology, and in the same time using the same game that they're trying to use on us or you or me, which is divide and conquer. Once you put these brokers that are in the front line and hold them as hostages, because that's what they've been, they want you to think we are the hostages. But don't let that fool you for one moment. They're the hostage. They're held hostage because people are holding. The second people let go, okay, that's a different story then. Then they got their wish. But if somebody's hurting, do you think they're going to tell you I'm hurting? Do you think they're going to tell you I'm over leveraged? Do you think they're going to tell you, I've been selling you stuff I shouldn't be selling? When they start crying to the SCC and to the government and the DTCC and the NSCC and the market maker and the short hedge funds, who's going to listen to them? All these other guys are going to be like, oh shit, okay, the script have flipped. We thought we were all in control. Somebody's going to be the fall. And obviously it's going to be the brokers. However, the brokers are all tied up to sponsorships through the DTCC and the government. Does that mean a government, overall government bailout at some point when time comes? Well, time will tell. If people can last these winters, I call this 2-3 years we've been in is like market winters. So if people get through the winters, God knows what's on the other side. Who knows? This, and again, just so that I can protect myself and say that I'm not also a financial advisor, AMC could also go bankrupt. There is nothing that is definitive. So this could go to zero, and this could go to the unlimited amounts that it rightfully deserves, but the choice will always be yours. Do you want to participate in their games and let them manipulate your mind or make your life a misery? Or do you want to live your life, go about your day and every day and live your life and continue to do what you got to do and see how these things play out? Especially when you know that you are holding their entire system hostage. That's how I feel. I'm holding all their brokers hostage. I'm not going to let go, and I'm going to keep adding until you give me, until the price is right. We'll just play that game. Until the price is right, you're my prisoner. And guess what? It's even worse. In my kingdom, torture is not forbidden. I will be torturing these brokers. Yeah, there's no mercy. There's no mercy. Not in this line of business, not in this world. There's no mercy. They definitely don't have it out for you or for me, and therefore I don't even have it out for them. An eye for an eye. So just like they want to divide and conquer here, there is a way to do divide and conquer on them, on their whole entire system, all of them, even the ones that we can't reach that I mentioned. We can through their intermediaries, the brokers. Because when this guy gets screwed, about the person that I'm buying from, the person that I'm giving my money to, that should have my best interest in mind, is my worst enemy, surprisingly, right? Go figure. But if that person, the broker, gets screwed up, who's going to come to the help? Remember back in 2020, when Robinhood started getting effed, who was on the same line with them? You guys remember the scandal, Robinhood and Citadel? They're not, like, no one is just going to go down on their own. Like that SBF crap, you saw what happened. He was going to start talking, and next thing you know, things are going in that direction eventually. And maybe they cut out some sort of deal like, okay, you don't talk, we won't come after you for imprisonment or whatever. Who knows? But some deal was cut. That's what, again, when you see things, just read things, like call things out as you see them. Your natural gut is what needs to tell you. I'm not going to sit there and waste my time reading through 50,000 papers and 100 or 200,000 papers. I've done that kind of stuff in the past. And when you get to a point, when you see similar like CEOs, the most influential people on this planet, they do the least work. And I'm not saying go be lazy or whatever. No, I'm saying be smarter. You don't have to necessarily work much harder at doing something. If there is a way to do it just as efficient and just as with the same quality or even higher for less effort, that's what technology is about. That's what inventions are all about, to make life much easier. And that's how you need to put things in the back of your head. I know this was a really long video, but I really want this to sink in and synchronize in people's minds. Once you start thinking in that way, and you know, hey, these people are all out there to get me. Just think like that. These all these people, I'm not going to give you a slip. I'm not going to give you a shot. I'm not going to give you a slip. I'm not going to give you a pass. Nobody gets a pass until I get what I came here for. And the only way I could do that is I have to identify, how can I make sure that this, that do not F me over. Well, I need to keep somebody, I need to take one of their people and hold them hostage just to make sure that I don't get effed over on my deal. In this situation that we're in, the only person we could go after and hold and keep literally in our imprisonment or under held hostage, is the people that we gave our money to. Doesn't matter, real shares or fake. At the end of the day, when it's my moment and it comes to my moment comes out for me to come ahead and sell my shares, none of the orders are going to say, oh, hold on, these are synthetic ones and these are real ones. We can't process the synthetic ones right now. Why they can't do that? Because once they do that, you're talking about the biggest lawsuits that you can personally be a part of or go on, that will probably make you even way more money than the whole entire MOAS itself combined. So they can't. They just have to take the beating at that moment, if that moment ever comes. They have to take the beating and keep their mouth shut. But they're not going down alone. So they're going to be bringing others with them. And they're going to say, hey, this is happening. It's not what you promised me. A lot of people are going to get stepped on. Many people are going to be sacrificed, sacrificial lambs. But you've seen what happened with Archegos. You've seen what happened with Melvin. You've seen what happened with FTX and counting. The only reason why most of this stuff is happening is simply because people are not letting go. And the only people that we hold with us, like as hostage, if I'm going down, you're coming down with me. And they can't. It's like we're both in the middle of the ocean. Imagine you and your broker are dumped in the middle of the ocean. Just imagine. And both of you are tied up. Literally tied up. And let me make this example even better. You both are dumped in the ocean, and there's only one floaty. And obviously the broker and you are going to be fighting. You're like, hey, I want to survive. That's just how human nature is. You want to survive. Everybody wants to survive. But the floaty can only hold one person. You've seen in the Titanic, that little wooden thing. I've never figured out why she let him go. I was like, why can't he just stay up? Why did he have to go under? Well, anyways, I never explained that one. But imagine the same scene. But in this case, it's you and the broker. You're Jack and the broker is Rose. Are you going to let go and perish? I don't know about what your answers are. For me, it's going to be a very big resounding no. And on the other side, Rose is going to say, I don't want to die. I want to live. I want to continue business. I want to survive. I'm not going to take this at my own expense. So, but only one can hang on. So as they try to let you go so you could drown, you are holding on tight. So their objective is to make sure that you loosen up your grip and eventually let go because you got tired, and eventually let go, and then you perish and they survive. Vice versa, if that's how you're understanding things, the way that I'm understanding things or going about things, then it's going to be the opposite. I'm not letting go. You're not letting go. Eventually, we're going to see who lasts longer, because that's what it's all about. It's been over 2 years, and it's going to come down to, like I said, like it's always been a deadlock. And I know that all these real or synthetic shorts or shares are in the possession, majority of it, of retail, because that's who the people that were set up to be played in this whole scheme, Ponzi scheme. Well, we as the people can turn the Ponzi scheme into the biggest transfer of wealth of all time, but you gotta use this and you gotta act and think like it. And you do not have to go through their system, play by their rules, and go to the breadcrumbs that they give you. In other words, you don't have to be their slave in order for you to overcome the system or overthrow the system. Be an anarchist for once in your life, for God's sake. Play by your own rules. And you know at the end of the day, hey, you might think that you are the devil and you're the one who's holding, like who's playing me, and I'm the one who's hurting and I'm the hostage. But no, my friend, I don't see it that way. I see it as you're stupid and you're dumb because you've been bringing these prices down. I'm not tired. I'm not going nowhere. And all I'm going to do is continue to buy more at cheaper prices because you're dumb enough thinking that you're going to wear me down. No, but you're giving me lifelines so that I can even hurt you more later. You're giving me more weapons. Those shares that I keep buying for lesser cost, whether Ape or AMC, that's them giving you the knife. Even more knives, more weapons. Oh, this time I got a gun for you. Or this time I got this for you. Hoping that you're going to be so illiterate to squander it back and say, I can't take this anymore. This siege, I can't take it. Here, I'm squandering. Peace. Please, just let me walk in one piece. Because that's what they want you to think. In reality, in my world, I see it the other way around. They gave me all these weapons to their demise, and they think I'm hostage? Only if the world sees it the same way I do, or only if the world thinks in the same realm as I do. And I know there's many smooth brained apes and AMC investors and meme stock investors out there that even think much more brilliant than I am, and are much better even strategists out there. But all I know is that I'm one of those people, and this is the way I see it, and that's the way it's gonna be. And at the end of the day, if my ship is gonna sink, I'm the captain that's gonna sink with his ship. But the only way this ship can sink for me, or my ship can sink, is if the company goes bankrupt. And if it doesn't go bankrupt, then my ship is going to continue sailing. So, hopefully, I didn't put you to sleep with all of this, guys. Again, AB is always about perspective more than anything. I'm not going to sit here and bring you this document that in 2 months, you're going to come back and look at that document and say, what happened to that, AB, to that document, huh? What happened to that? What did that do? Look at that. This is how they enslave you within that system and the game that they play. Is by giving you the seeds and the breadcrumbs like birds in a cage. They give you what they want you to see and what they want you to have, because they know that later on, when you're holding on to this thinking that it's the most valuable DD that you just found, when it doesn't come to fruition, the first thing you do is lose hope and lose interest. That's what they're going for. So with that being said, brothers and sisters, much love, AV Investments.